Hey, Yoni here. In today's video, we'll talk about Putin's race against time. This video is based on a thread that I wrote on X. I have bought myself a microphone, so hopefully the sound quality will be better than in the previous videos. Let's get to the subject. While prices continue to increase in Russia, the ruble is crumbling. Russia's economy is in huge trouble and it won't be able to sustain the current pace of the war for much longer. Now is not the right time for the West to fumble by giving in to Russia's insane demands. As Putin continues to pour resources into Russia's military spending, the Russian economy is deteriorating. The ruble is rapidly losing value, inflation is high, and the average Russian feels it at the checkout when going to the store. Butter prices have increased by 30% in 2024, making the product a luxury item. Some Russians are so desperate that they're actually stealing butter and selling it on the black market. Because of this, supermarkets have started to use anti-theft casings on butter. Prices are increasing on other basic items as well. The price of potatoes is up 56% and eggs are in short supply. The situation is making some Russians desperate. Recently published surveillance footage shows 2 Russians entering a supermarket to steal 25 packs of butter. Despite Putin's claims of economic resilience, shortages and increasing prices are the new reality in Russia. Even Belosov's appointment as Minister of Defense won't change this reality. Putin claimed that he can offer both guns and butter to the population, but he has clearly prioritized guns. Despite Putin's initial confidence in a quick war with minimal domestic impact, the reality has been very different. While sanctions have not made the economy collapse, they have disrupted supply chains and increased the prices for normal Russians. Inflation in Russia is driven by a combination of an acute shortage of labor, increased public spending, and sanctions. As I've discussed in my previous videos and in some of my threads, the Russian central bank has tried to decrease the inflation by raising its key interest rate. The key interest rate is currently at 21% and is likely to increase again in December. However, the high key interest rate has not managed to slow down inflation yet. A Russian government-linked think tank has even warned that Russia might enter stagflation at some point. Stagflation would be one of the worst possible scenarios for Russia. Russia's tiny $2 trillion economy has managed to avoid a total collapse thanks to the central bank governor's Nabiullina's hard work. However, cracks are emerging and the situation is getting tougher and tougher for Russia. It's good to remember that Russia's nominal GDP is still lower than it was in 2013. An economy with so little growth during the last 10 years should not be overheating, and yet Russia's economy is clearly overheating as of now. The Kremlin intends to spend around 40% of its national budget next year on defense and security. This is more than what the Kremlin will spend on social security, healthcare, and education. Nearly 30% of Russia's state budget will go directly to the military, a level that has not been seen since the USSR. Russia has also depleted its national wealth fund to about half of its pre-war level. At the same time, the ruble is at its lowest level since March 2022. New sanctions and the overall economic situation put heavy pressure on the ruble. The situation forces the Kremlin to favor a weaker ruble. With a weaker ruble, the Kremlin can buy some time with the upsides of a devaluation, but on the long run it will cause issues for the average Russian. To sum what I've said until now up, Russia is in big trouble. Trump is surrounded by pro-Russians and some of his associates might want to give Russia a favorable deal because of personal interests. It's extremely important for Trump to understand that now is not the right time to fumble by conceding to Russia's insane demands. Russia is in an extremely tough situation that will only worsen over time. Russia is dependent on this war. Russia either needs a very favorable deal that it can sell as a win at home, or it needs a continuous war. Ukraine is unlikely to accept any deal that is too favorable to Russia. Because of this, the initial negotiations between Ukraine and Russia are likely to fail. The only way for Trump to increase the chance of these negotiations succeeding is to use real threats against Russia to give them an incentive to negotiate. To sum it up, Putin is currently in a race against time. Putin is trying to seem as strong as possible and to bluff his way into some sort of undeserved and decent deal sometime in 2025. The Western world needs to understand how desperate he is, and because of that we cannot fumble and give him any deal that he does not deserve. This was it for today's video. I hope that you liked it and I hope that you liked the new sound quality with the microphone. Anyways, if you did, please like and subscribe and see you in the next video. Thank you.